So welcome everyone to the February Mother Mary message evening. Many of you may be wondering why it's on the 11th, where for the last 4 or 5 years now, it's been like 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, etc. But back in January, Mother Mary said, no, do it on the 11th. And then I thought, well, maybe that was just with the holidays and all, and we would switch back. And she said, no, the 11 is very, very important now, because if you think about how an 11 looks, it's a 1 and a 1. And what she was saying was that this is the time where we have to be strong in ourselves, but also learn how to connect with others. And I know sometimes we feel like we don't all play well with others, but it really is about standing in our own strength and integrity, and also being able to connect with both those that are easy for us to connect with, and then again, sometimes those that are maybe not so easy to connect with. And so from now on, at least as far as I know, for this year of 2021, which of course ends in a 1, we will be broadcasting on the 11th of each month, and it will be at 5 p.m. Pacific, and figure it out from there. And I do record it, so if you're going to miss it, I'll be happy to send out the recording to you to take care of that. So it's the 11th of February. We have the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump going on. Whatever your opinion is about that, we're not going to talk about politics. But what I do want to talk about for just a moment before I bring in Mother Mary is, how are we standing in our own one, in our own oneness, and what kind of help might we be able to create and bring in to help us be in that oneness, to really strengthen our own sovereign self, but not by isolating, not by barricading ourselves, not by shutting out the rest of the world, even though for many of us with the COVID situation, it has kept us from seeing as many people or going as many places as we were used to. So what Mother Mary was telling me about this 1 and 1 is that there's some work that we each can do to help strengthen our own body and our own aliveness and our own energy. And if we do that and we are in full integrity with ourselves, it's also going to make it less difficult. I'm not going to say easy, but less difficult to interface with people that maybe have a different way of life, or a different walk, or a different belief set or belief system. And so she took me back to something, and I'll have her explain more about it. But while I'm waiting for a few more people to get on, I wanted to just kind of lay it out for you. Some of you, how many of you are familiar with the word merkabah? Yay, wow.
Yeah.
Well, merkabah and sometimes H, and you can look it up, later on if you want to. But it came out of ancient teachings and Hebrew and lots of history. But what Mother Mary was showing me is that we each have a merkabah. Some people think of it as an aura, but it is actually a double star tetrahedron, a geometric shape. And for some of you, don't know if you can see that, but that's a tiny little, it looks like a little star.
Okay.
And what she was showing me is that, as above, so below. So we need to kind of have our star self, our connection with spirit, very strong. So whatever that looks like for you, whether that's meditating or walking in nature or whatever that looks like, we got to get that star full of light for ourselves. So our third eye, our crown chakra, our connection with soul star chakra, all of that has to be kind of beaming. And then the bottom half is our connection to the earth, which is our connection to family, to friends, to work, to nature, and really to the community at large, to each other. And so we have to also strengthen that, so we don't feel kind of bullied by or pushed over by people who have belligerent expression in some way. And many of us I know are very sensitive. And so it might be easy if you got all this going on to feel like you're just, blowing in the wind. So how do we not only strengthen that, how do we strengthen the star above and the star below, if you will, to create that strong merkabah? And I'm going to have her talk about that in just a moment, because I think what is so vital, if we really want to be the peacekeepers and the peacemakers and be able to be in the world in a peaceful way, we've got to really beef up our own merkabah, our own body of light. And the word merkabah is interesting in the sense that mer, you think it would mean ocean, but it means light from Hebrew. The ka means spirit, and the ba means body. So it's the alignment of the body and the spirit with light. So it's, in a way, your light body, but made manifest in your own physical expression. And so that's sort of the, the container within which we start to think about, how do I become a peacekeeper in the world, by first creating that peace within myself, but then also being able to just live it, to just be it. So I don't necessarily have to, pick it or demonstrate or write letters. I can if I want to, but how do I really do that? And what Mother Mary will talk about in just a moment, I just want to make sure that everybody could get on, that wanted to get on, is that this is an inside job. So it's not necessarily that someone else couldn't help you, or that meditation doesn't help you, or going to a yoga class or whatever. That could all be very, very helpful. That's you, please mute yourself. So when we think about an inside job, what works for me, and of course, you can see what works for you, is to align myself with spirit. And for me, Mother Mary's been my go-to girl for a long time. So I align myself with Mother Mary and with love. Then I take a look at my body, my bottom half, if you will, and I ask myself, what's disturbing me? What is disrupting my peace? What is it that I'm, I don't know, not happy with, judgmental about, whatever you want to say? And I had a wonderful teacher a long time ago who said, there's good news and bad news on the spiritual journey. And the good news is it's all about you. And the bad news is it's all about you. And so whatever we're seeing outside, even if that is horrible, animal cruelty, cancer, whatever, there's an aspect within ourselves that we can look at and perhaps shift and heal. And so that's sort of the work for many of us now, is to take a look at what is disturbing our peace, and to see if we can make peace with those people or those things, so that we can be at peace and we can know whatever those people are doing, even if it's awful, it's not necessarily ours to change them or to fix it. It's ours to really go inside and offer love and peace in whatever way we can. And that's tough. That's tough. One of my longtime spiritual teachers, Ram Dass, used to quote something from a Zen patriarch, and that was, the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. So I know for most of us, we have our preferences. We have our way of thinking about how people should behave or could behave or might behave. And it's frustrating sometimes when they don't. So one of the things that has happened for me recently that I'll just share with you in terms of how I did my best to readjust my thinking. A friend of mine is going through cancer, and after my initial whatever shock and upset and this and that, I sat and I meditated about it, and I thought, okay, so first of all, how can I help? How can I be of service to her without jeopardizing whatever this is for her? You know, like, I don't know what it is for her. I don't know what it is for her. I wish it wasn't so. She probably wishes it wasn't so, but I don't know. And so what I did that seems to be working is I began to say, if this is somehow part of her journey, how can I add love and illumination to her and to this journey? Because cancer is horrible. It's not something you want anyone to ever have. So I began to realize that what I could do was imagine that each cancer cell was somehow being radiated during her radiation by the Holy Spirit, and that it was going to renew her being and her body from whatever had happened or, you know, created this situation for her. And I shared this with her, and I just felt like that's part of how I can readjust my thinking rather than being in this, oh my God, isn't this awful, you know, place, which is not helpful to her. And it's heartbreaking to me. So part of what I think, you know, is important today is to realize all of the strife that we're seeing, all of the ugliness that's going on, all of the different opinions about everything, to just come back inside. And my question, my go-to on my sweatshirt is, what would love do here? And I think that's really the challenge for today, is to recognize that whatever we're seeing out there, we can come back into our merkabah and reframe it and offer a higher perspective, a more loving perspective, while still understanding that people are suffering and that, you know, life can be hard right now. So it looks like everybody's on that's coming on. So that's my thought for today, and I'll have Mother Mary talk to you a little bit about the merkabah. So happy, 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 happy. Why do I start with that? You can't be peaceful if you're not happy. Right, right? So how do you become happy? That's your choice. That's your creation. That's your decision. And, you know, Samarah said it's an inside job. And I think that's a very practical way to begin. So if you're not feeling happy, stop if you can, not if you're driving, but pull over, stop, go into yourself and shift the thought pattern that is creating a feeling that is not what you're choosing or want. So if you're thinking, oh my God, the world is terrible, what's happening with COVID, look at the politicians, whatever, you cannot change or fix that in that moment. So the job is really to come back inside and say, all right, I don't feel happy. And I choose to shift that and feel happy. So now sit down, close your eyes. If you have a dog or a cat or a baby nearby, you know, grab them. If you don't, get a beautiful flower or a cup of tea or, you know, whatever brings your heart opening. And begin at the top. You know, I'm making the top of the merkabah. And at the top, begin with saying, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. God created me, and that is God's gift to me. So what I want to give back to God is my happiness in my life. And so I am a child of God. I choose in this moment to be grateful, and I choose to be happy that I'm alive in this life. And so you begin to remember and imagine all of the joy that you've had in your life, with friends, with family, with animals, with nature, with journeys and travels and whatever it was. I am a child of God, and I live a happy life. Now you bring it down because your heart is already opening. Your heart is already like, oh, yes, remember when I was, whatever it was. You just begin to remember. And what you're doing, literally, electrically, and magnetically in your body, is turning back on the lights. You're turning back on your own lights that you had allowed for a little while to be dimmed while you were reacting to whatever you were reacting to. So I'm a child of God, happy memories coming in. And now as you move down, you get to your power center, right? Your third chakra. And you say, I choose to change my thoughts in this moment. I'm not saying you can change what's out there. I choose to change my thoughts. I am a child of God. And now you're starting to fill in the blanks. I am a peaceful woman of the light or man of the light. I choose to be a light in the world. I choose to be at peace in the world, whatever's coming to you. That's your power center, which is your choice. And so now what you're doing is you're turning on the light and connecting it with your power, right? Your power. And now as you move down your body, you just ask yourself, what in this moment do I now choose to do? And so what you're doing again is you're cutting the ties with whatever the outside situation is to come back into your peace and also this place of, I want to say, this beautiful place of creation, remembrance, and reconciliation with yourself. Trust me, if Viktor Frankl could be happy in a concentration camp, you can be happy. Happy is this joining of your heart and mind and body in the moment, in the presence of that moment. And so it doesn't mean that you're necessarily jumping up and down or whatever. What it means is you're at peace and reactivating the light of your joy, the light of your love, and the power to make new choices. And you, in a sense, are moving yourself out of the constriction of thought of having to do something with this one or having to do something with that one. For the moment, let that be. Choose to be at peace. Choose to be your light. Choose to be, in a way, sovereign. That's really what a merkabah is. It's your light body and your physical body happily moving through your life. And many of you, I don't know how much time and attention you spend thinking about what makes me happy, but perhaps you need a little more to think, what makes me happy? And ideally, it's yourself. Yourself. To be happy that you're alive, to be happy that you have a life, that you have a house, that you have friends, whatever it is. But you can be happy and be alone. It is an inside job. It is a place in you of really understanding, I am a part of the divine, poured into this body, living this life. And at any moment in time, I can choose to be happy. I can choose to be at peace, because that's what I want to bring back into the world. Not anger, not judgment, but peace. So many people don't quite understand this very, very vital and important aspect of the spiritual journey. And that is that you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give what you do not have. And so you must, if you want to be offering something in the world, you must first give it to yourself. Be happy. And there are sad things that happen in the world. We're not denying that. But what we're saying is you can be sort of the bringer of the light into the lives of those who, for the moment, their light has felt dimmed by circumstances, cancer, whatever. But you cannot give what you do not have. And so this time that we're in of 2021 and the next, really about the next 10 years, is really about sovereignty, your own soul sovereignty. That's the one. Being so strong, such a light pillar in yourself, happy in yourself, peace in yourself. And now when you're going out or seeing people or talking to people or on Zoom or whatever you're all doing, that's what you bring. That's what you bring. You bring your light. You bring your peace. You bring your sovereignty. And that's a powerful aspect of spiritual leadership and spiritual mastery, if you will. It's to realize if I allow the world to claim my power, to steal my light, I will have nothing to give. So you come back to your star and you say, I am a child of God. Because you all are. You're all part of this beautiful source energy. And if you're not feeling happy, you go right down and say, okay, wait a minute, got to come back to gratitude, the joy of animals, children, nature, whatever brings you happiness. And I'm going to choose a new thought. I'm here to be a light, first to myself, and then in whatever way life offers for me to bring it. So later, when you have a chance, look up merkabah, draw one for yourself with your picture inside, right? So you have a merkabah on your drawing, and then you put your own face and body inside of it, and you remember. Light is here. Light is here. All I have to do is remind my body and my being and my spirit to come into that together. And so it will be. And in the times that we're in right now, we really need peacekeepers. We really need peacekeepers. And what does that mean? It means that you have within yourself kind of this sovereign, indomitable joy. And then you're able to hear others. And when they feel heard, there's a shift. So much of the strife right now that you're seeing in the world is from the people who have been neglected and overlooked and sort of shunted aside. And so when someone shows up with a shiny object, and they follow that for a while. But where does it come from? And this is the other aspect of spiritual mastery, is to understand, where did this come from? Because if I can take my heart back to where it came from, I can perhaps be more compassionate about how they're showing up in this moment. And so when people have been neglected for a long time, they want to be seen and they want to be heard and they want their part of the universe for themselves. And so in the coming days, as you master your merkabah, all I would say is imagine that everyone in the world felt seen and heard, and that they felt like they mattered. It would be a very different world. And so we're not talking about politics, we're not talking about religion, we're not talking about color or nationality or all of that. Just create your own sovereign self, your own merkabah, if you will, your own place of peace and joy. And then just be open to where spirit guides you. There's no shortage of places to be or people to help. That's not the issue. But the important thing, and I'll say it one more time, is you cannot give what you do not have. And so job one is to really realize, am I leaking energy? Am I distracted and distraught by whatever? Okay, stop. Stop. Come back to yourself. Come back to your heart. Come back to your merkabah and say, wait, I have the choice, I have the power, and I'm now making the choice to realize if I am not at peace, if I am not happy, the world can buffet me about like a piece of flotsam and jetsam. So I want to stand strong and sovereign in the world. And so you shall, and so you shall. Because as you do that, I would love to explain how the universe works, but I don't think we have quite that much time. But if you are a sovereign being in your beautiful merkabah, you live at a frequency along with millions of other merkabah people who are lifting the veils and the stagnant energy and the hatred and racism and all of that. You are literally lifting it without needing to physically lift it. Because the higher frequency that you're providing and living in and choosing and connecting with others is in and of itself forming a web of light all around the world. And what does that do? For someone who is distraught and upset and all of this and that, it's as if, as they're walking along all angry and upset and this and that, it's as if someone touches them and says, wait a minute, look up, look in. It's all right. Along with that, you all will be doing that with your friends and family and people that you meet in the grocery store. And so there's a convergence. People have talked for years about the new Earth, and you're all thinking you're going to be taken off planet to some new star. Not yet. But what the new Earth is literally a different frequency of thought, a different frequency of light, and therefore a different frequency of creation. And so the most important thing you can do is establish your own frequency of peace and light, because you will be more joyous. You will feel so elevated and happy. Realizing also that everywhere, whether it's tonight, those of us that are here on Zoom, but think about it, all through the world right now, there are teachers and healers and practitioners of every form of energy work praying and meditating and laughing and loving and offering that out. You are not alone by any means. And so I'm just saying that the vital thing is to really realize if I'm not happy, I need to stop take a break and come back. And really, in like 5 minutes, you can change it if you choose. It's not a big deal. It's just realizing, wait a minute, I got caught up in the chaos and the drama and this and that. And that's not my job. My job is to be my merkabah of light, joyous, peaceful, happy, open. And you can just see it all over the world, all of you beautiful, beautiful lights. And that's what will change. That's what will change. Along with, as I said, wherever you're walking, wherever you're being, just be you. There'll be plenty of people you can lift a little in your life. And so I'm just incredibly grateful for all of you, because there are millions of you right now praying in your own way, living in this new way, realizing I want to change the pattern of this old earth, which was all about domination and subjugation, to a new place of co-creation, peace, and healing. So for today, I'm going to, in just a moment, stop the video so I can keep talking to the people who are on the call. But for all of you that are watching the video, please, please, please create your beautiful merkabah. Have it, enjoy it, live it, and share it. And so namaste to all of you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.